So we have two guests today. You are going to introduce the big stone.
Well, I think it's only fair that I do it today because we have in our midst, ladies and gentlemen, this is my opinion, me, the honorable, I may have to say honorable because a man like Big Stone, an icon, a
Mm-hmm.
legend,
Mm-hmm.
a staple,
Make sure him head swelling up.
a staple,
Swell it
and
up, but
more than anything else, a warrior in the
yes.
Jamaican community.
Mm-hmm.
I am honored to have on our platform today Mr. Claude Sinclair, aka Big Stone from Big Stone TV. Welcome, 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 welcome.
Look at the stars like
Yes,
Moses.
you see the staff? Oh,
It
Yes.
is an honor for me to be amongst greatness. I am so humble in accepting all the accolades that has been bestowed upon me by genuine people. This is
Mm.
not just something frivolous, but this is something that, because I've known my brother and my sister for quite some time,
yes.
we've been on the battlefield for quite some time. We have worked together for quite some time. So
Mhm.
we both know, or we all know, the journey ahead that we are intertwined to do.
That's right.
I'm here with a rod that was given to me by a Rasta man in Portland by the name
Mm.
of Melchizedek.
Right.
He's a craftsman and he had this rod made for 7 years.
Mm.
And then when he saw me, he told me that the Almighty said to give this rod to me for free. Now, this
Mm.
is the root of a tree. If you look at it, this is the root you're looking at.
Right.
Yeah,
How the
yeah.
tree stand. This is
Yeah.
how the tree stands up,
Mm-hmm.
right? This is how the tree stand up. So this would be the top of the tree.
Right.
Let me put my thing back on. This
All
would
right.
be the top of the tree. But then
Mm-hmm.
when you turn it around like this, it
Stuff.
forms
Yeah.
the star. It forms
Mm.
the rod.
Yeah.
And he
Mm,
said he wants me to have it because the journey is going to get rough and rougher and rougher. And I'm going to need something to lean on
Yeah.
during my journey. So
You're
thank
right.
you, Melchizedek, for this.
God bless Melchizedek.
yes.
Also, as part of this conversation, we're going to talk about it anyway. He is a legend and an icon himself.
Mhm.
He's former broadcaster at Ben TV. He's a singer. He's he does publishing. I don't think there's anything this man cannot do. All right, he's a legend and an icon, and when you hear his name, speaks volumes. So welcome, Norman Gentles.
Yes.
Greetings, 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 blessings,
Greetings.
guys. Yes. How you guys doing?
Good, thank you.
Very well, thank you.
Listen,
And
I am
it's
I
an
am
honor to
honored.
have you
I'm
here.
honored to be in such privileged company. You know, Big Stone, that rod, you look like you're gonna pass the Red Sea in a minute now, you know.
See that? See that?
I
Mhm.
thought so
Yes.
too.
It looked like you're gonna part the Red Sea any day now. But
Mm,
let me just say, it's just a joy to be here. You know, with especially with my good friend Big Stone. You know, who I got to know over the years, and I first got introduced by a video where he went and found the legendary Junior Biles. You know, because
Mhm.
we had actually wondered whatever happened to Junior Biles. And I remember, I think I was telling you, 10 Star off air, you know,
yeah,
my encounter with Junior Biles back in the late 70s, 80s.
that's
And I
right.
was driving through halfway free. And as we drove past this homeless, well, this in the UK we call him homeless guy walking and, you know, disheveled, He's black, dirty, and he was actually looking into a garbage bin, and
Mm,
the person that I was with, and he said, "Oh, you know who that is?" And I said, "Who is that?" He said, "Oh, that's Junior Buzz." So I said, "Stop the car." I said, "Stop the car." He said, "No, I
mm,
can't stop the car, man. No, no, wait. You don't wanna leave him alone, man.
yeah.
He's done. Nobody wants him. Nobody interested in him." I said, "No, stop the car." I said, "Junior Buzz." And I
Mm,
stopped the car. Eventually went across, and I said, "Hi, are you Junior Biles?" And looked at me with vacant eyes. Just there was
mm,
nothing there, just blank, and really brought tears to my eyes. And I'm thinking, Junior Biles, and I said, I remember you, Junior Biles. I said, I'm a journalist, and I've been following you. I know about your music. What's happening with you? And he
mm,
looked and didn't say anything. So I said, "You're hungry? Let me go and buy you some food." He said, "No, no, I'll just give you some money, and I'll deal with it." And I gave
yeah.
him some money and drove off. And then years later, of course, dealing with publishing, you kind of researching and see who is collecting this guy's money,
Yeah.
and it's a
Yeah.
sad state of affairs that many of our artists, some of them die penniless. Some of the families can't even bury them,
Mm,
and there's millions of money
yeah.
that's out there, and millions, billions as well,
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
there, and they're not getting it. So
Yeah.
part of my job is to try and retrieve some of those monies for these artists.
Mm,
If not
yeah.
them, the family, because many of them unfortunately have passed on.
Right.
So I was introduced to Big Stone when I saw he went and he found Junior Biles, and what he did for Junior Biles. I mean, wow, you can't pay for this, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Um, it was such a joy, just a blessing, and I'm thinking this man needs to be honored for
Mm,
what he's done,
Just right.
and
that's right.
still doing. And
Mhm.
and I said, listen, I want to get involved with him. I mean, there's
Yeah.
many vloggers out there, but he was just something different. I saw
Mhm.
Definitely.
something different. What he was doing from his heart.
Yeah.
Is not a
Yeah.
guy that was just doing it just for the likes, as it were. As
Yeah.
many of people, as many
That's
vloggers,
right.
they're about the likes, how much the streaming is going up, how much it's liked. Big
Yeah.
Stone is not about that. I mean, case in point, right now, the man's got stage 4 cancer, and he's
Mm,
still out there doing it. And I'm thinking,
still out
what is
there.
it, this man?
That's
What
right.
is it, this
That's right.
man? You think, wow, you got to be in
It,
his corner.
That's right. That's right. And I have to, piggy bank off of what you were saying because for many years, just watching him, even before I knew him, and to speak to, I used to see Big Stone in the streets. Just helping the entire community or walk into certain maybe restaurants or stores and have a conversation about what it's like in a community. How can we make things better? I'm thinking to myself, this man is a mighty man in the making. I haven't seen somebody with this much dedication, and each and every time because I subscribe to his channel and just watching him
Yeah,
on a daily basis, just doing something different. This man has a
yeah,
different kind of energy that I don't know. I mean, his battery is even bigger than the Energizer Bunny. You know what I mean? So when you see a
exceptional,
man with that kind of
exceptional.
energy,
He's
it's just
exceptional.
remarkable.
Yeah.
So, you know, we piggyback, I mean, we forward down to where we are today, right? I've always said that this man has a different calling, especially in Jamaica. He's a mighty man in Jamaica. If people don't know it already, they're hearing it today. And I'm pretty sure half of Jamaica, if not more than half of Jamaica, will agree that we still need Big Stone on planet Earth, right? So here's
Absolutely.
what's happening. We're going to have a meaningful conversation. And I know Big Stone has a lot to say, right? So, because of what Big Stone is going through, made me go to the hospital to get my own prostate checked. Now, it's a test
Wow.
that I hate doing,
Yeah.
but I did it because my father died of stage 4 cancer. right?
Sure.
Prostate cancer. Now, right up until when my father passed away, we still did not know why he kept collapsing, right? So 1 minute he'll go to the toilet, next minute we don't hear from him and he's collapsed. And this happened about 3 or 4 times. Rush him down to the hospital and the same thing is happening. Then they say there's a mass on his back. And I'm thinking, mass? I haven't seen no mass on his back. So they put him under the knife and he started to learn how to walk again. All this is happening in about 4 days of us recognizing him collapsing, right? So on the second day, he's in on the hospital bed after the operation. Third day, he's awake, and then every now and again he keeps falling into a coma or some sort. And then the doctors come back and say, "You got to say your last goodbyes." I'm like, "What?"
Wow. Wow.
You know. And then
In
next
that
minute,
short space of a time. In that short time.
in that short space of a time, within 4 days, before that, it was happy, jolly, running all over the place. So I'm
Wow.
not making sense of this. So to cut a very long story short now, I'm thinking to myself, this can't be right, you know? And then next minute he jumps up and he says, My Jesus loves me. Now you have to remember, my father is a Muslim. So I'm thinking, Jesus loves you. And he goes, Yes, Jesus said he loves me. Anyway, cut that short. I had to send my goodbyes. I had to tell him to stop fighting, and he was gone. And I'm
Oh
like,
wow.
Jesus. Even now, just thinking about it, and then hearing Big Stone is suffering from it. Some other people that I've known in the past have suffered from prostate cancer. So I said, man, I've got to go to the hospital because there's no way I'm going out like that. You know what I mean? So Big Stone, I don't know if Sharon wants to say anything about the matter, but I'm going
Yeah,
to give you time to say something and then hand the mic over to Big Stone.
yeah. I just want to say my father had prostate cancer,
Mm.
and yeah, I cannot say that's what actually killed him in the end. It's a story in itself. However, he at the time when we found out, um, he was hiding certain things, and I want to say this because this is in correlation to what we will get into. As a
They're fond
Caribbean
of
man,
doing that.
hiding. He was hiding his the bathroom frequencies. He was
Right.
hiding the fact that he was seeing blood when he peed, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
But if he went to the bathroom, he would quickly. And my mother was a nurse. My mother, being the person that she is, she checks everything. So I think she caught one of the underpants he supposedly washed and saw the blood.
Oh
Mm.
wow.
What is
Yeah.
this? What's going on? And either way, I don't, nothing, man, is all right. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Anyway, my mom was away, and me, my sister-in-law, my sister, he was like, we're taking you to the doctor. And that's when we found out he had an issue with prostate issue. And then with further testing, it was prostate cancer. He was
Right.
fine. He decided he's lost his brother some months back because he had prostate. They cut him, and within a week he was dead. Okay, my father said, nobody now cut me. Okay, dad. He took at the time, what was offered, they have radiation seeds.
Mm.
Yes.
Put the
Yes.
radiation seeds in the ball sack, right? In the scrotum. And he was fine, still working. My father was a master mechanic, and he was going to work every single. He was working. He was fine until one day I must have got an infection. He then had to have a catheter. There's so many things involved with this process. He had to have a catheter,
Mm.
and he got some. He got infected, and then they decided to do radiation.
Yeah.
Radiation is a whole nother story. We
Yeah.
will get into that. So I'm not going to elaborate on that yet. We're going to get into that. But what actually killed him was his body was weak, and the nurse gave him too much pain medication.
Right.
Twice,
Yeah.
twice.
Mm.
First time she was warned, his body weight is at this. You cannot give him a full dose. She did not
Mm.
Wow.
listen.
Yeah.
He went into a coma the first time. He came out of the coma and he said, whatever they gave me. Because when they called us, they said, come and say your goodbyes. He came
Yeah.
out of that coma. He said, whatever they gave me, please don't let them give it to me again.
Mm.
So we were getting ready
Yeah.
to take him home. So they took him off of ICU, put him in a
Hmm.
regular ward, and we were going to bring him home. Why did the same nurse go and give him the same injection? And that was it.
Mm.
That was the end.
That was the
Sad.
end.
Damn.
So like, I know that's kind of negligent of
It's
this
negligence.
nurse.
Yeah.
It's sad
Yeah.
that happens. You know, it's just
It
sad.
does. It does. It
You know.
happens. But
Yeah.
again, we are here to discuss
Yeah.
the
Indeed.
pros and cons of prostate cancer, the care, the treatments
Indeed.
to
Yeah.
avoid. We're here to discuss that today. So that is
Yeah.
what I have to say.
Okay, so let's hand the mic over to Big Stone, and I'm gonna let you start off from wherever you want to start off. I know previously you wanted to start off from the rumors that you had heard, but Big Stone, the stage is yours. Let
Yes.
this be a memorable, teachable moment.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Well, first of all, I must say welcome to each and every one of you on this platform, this very informative platform today. And I hope that everything that comes out of my mouth will inspire and educate our brothers here in Jamaica and our African brothers spread right across the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because prostate cancer affect men of African descent more than any man on the planet Earth. I ask myself the question, is this a deliberate act to target our reproductive organ? Because your prostate is your reproductive organ. Your
Mm.
prostate works uh, in which your testicle, your scrotum, build sperm and so on and so forth. So they
Mm.
both hug each other, they
Yeah.
live together, they commend each other, and they
Yeah.
produce children. I did a PSA test about 3 years ago, not even knowing that I did a PSA test because, as intelligent as I am, PSA prostate is not discussed in my group or my circle.
Right.
It is not something that someone easily talk about. So a PSA, I didn't even recognize what it means. I later
Mm.
found out it means prostate specific antigen, but we'll get into that later on.
Mm.
So I did a test. I did an executive test, and now I know what I didn't know before. My PSA came back 38.1.
Mm.
Mm.
Now your PSA test should prove if you're okay 0 to 4.
Right.
So me being 38.1, I'm in
Mm.
trouble because
Yeah.
6
That's pretty
isn't
high.
a problem,
Yeah.
7 is problem, 8 is problem, 38.1, I'm in trouble. I already had prostate cancer at that time
Mm.
and didn't
Mm.
know it. Now what we must all understand that this disease doesn't start out with any symptoms. The
Mm.
symptoms comes later on. So I
Mm.
was just there minding my own business, helping others, doing all this stuff. All when I was doing junior bads and all the other stuff and all the other folks, I was suffering from this disease. Until I noticed now that I started to get up between 8 and 10 times per night. And
Mm.
then I noticed that when I urinate, there's this
Hmm.
burning sensation when I urinate. So I went
Mm.
to my
Right.
doctor and I thought more or less I had a urinary tract infection.
Mm.
So I went to my doctor. When I went to my doctor, he thought I had a urinary tract infection. All
Yeah.
the symptoms were pointing to that. So he gave
Yeah.
me some antibiotic,
Mm.
which I used for 7 days, and the problem didn't clear up. Matter of fact, it got worse. So I went
Mm.
back to my doctor. I said, Doc, whatever you did didn't work. He said, maybe I have to give you a stronger dose of antibiotic. So he
Mm.
gave me a
Right.
stronger dose of antibiotic. 7 days passed, the problem still exists. Now I'm
Yeah.
not only having problems getting up at night, I'm not only having problem urinating, I'm feeling a pain in my left hip. And then it goes all the way down to my knee. I'm saying I'm a YouTube influencer. I spend a lot of hours. Everything I try to use to offset the truth, which I
Yeah,
don't.
excuse. Yeah, yeah.
So I'm saying, boy, I'm over 60. I'm 66 years old now, or 65, 66. It's arthritis. Then I start to talk about the sciatica nerve, and then
Mm.
all that. Anyway, when I went back to my doctor the second time, he said, "Listen, I have to introduce you now to a urologist. I have to pick up Dr. Garrett Reed." When I went to Dr. Garrett Reed, immediately he said to me, "I have to do a digital rectal examination." What? This is a male doctor talking to me about digital rectal examination. Uh uh. Because of all the taboo and the thing that we heard and so on. Boy, no man now go around this up. No man now go around this up. Anyway, thinking intelligently, I said, "Listen, I'm having problem urinating. I'm getting up late at night. There must be something wrong." So I went ahead. But when the doctor did the test professionally, he went in
Yeah.
5 seconds or more and came out. He didn't go in there and have a rugby game up there. He didn't play a cricket match up there. He spent hours up there. He went professionally, and in
Yeah.
5 seconds, he was able to come back and tell me, "My God, your prostate is twice the normal size.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
You must go immediately and do a PSA test, prostate specific antigen test."
Antigen. Mhm.
When I went and did the PA test and came back, but you don't tell me what my results were. 72.81.
That's way
I-
too high.
It actually increased. So it's gone up,
It increased,
It actually doubled.
doubled in that
Way
time.
out
Wow.
of the ballpark, way out. So he said, "Mr. Sinclair, we have to do
Yeah.
a biopsy." Now, a biopsy is not cheap. It's $130-something thousand in Jamaica. I have
Yeah,
to
man.
big up my family, big up my friends, big up Norman Gentles, who assisted me in raising this $130-something thousand to do this biopsy. I did the biopsy on the 18th of November. The following day was a Sunday, the 19th. I went and I interviewed Gully Bob's son. You saw that video, went viral. But on the 20th, I got up about 1 o'clock in the morning and I could not pass my urine.
Yeah. Yeah.
For 3 hours, I was in excruciating pain. My belly bottom hurt. Me a ball out. Me a ball out. Whoa, me can't take it no more. Whoa. Then I called up a friend of mine at 3 o'clock in the morning, Eru Aisha Kamusa Menele.
Yeah.
He has prostate problem, but not cancer. And he understood exactly what I was going through, and he rushed to my aid. Took me to the University of the West Indies Hospital. Now, I want you brothers out there to listen to my story. I'm telling you the truth because it happened to me. When I got
Hearing
to
you.
the University of the Hospital, they took about half an hour before they came to see me. On the wall, it is written that only emergency cases and one who are much more serious will be seen first. So here I am, KP. Don't you think that emergency is enough? I'm
Yes,
feeling
yes,
pain.
yes, yes, yes.
And in pain as well, of course.
Okay, yeah.
Half an hour ran by, and because I was bawling so loud, I know I probably touched a nerve in the doctor. We had, I don't want to call his name, right? But he came over aggressively, and he took me into a room. Eru was standing right beside me as my witness, and forcefully forced a catheter out my penis. No anesthesia, no nothing. I've never
No
felt
anesthesia. Oh my goodness.
I've
And
never
you're in
felt
pain already.
I never felt it's worse than the pain I was feeling.
Imagine.
I never felt anything like that
Wow.
in my life.
Mm-mm.
He didn't even tell me how to care for this bag or anything. Right? He just handed it to me. No, it was not fixed to my body or anything. So I had to walk out of the hospital with the catheter and the bag in my hand.
Yeah.
No.
Got home, very uncomfortable. Now I am sleeping with this bag. And the bag fills up automatically. I go to bed. I don't have to get up now in the morning, thank God. I'm not having to get up 6, 7, 8 times. I'm sleeping right through the night. But when I
Right.
get up in the morning, this back is full.
Big Stone, did you still have the pain? Big Stone, did you still have the pain while the catheter was there? Did you still
Uh,
have pain?
Slight pain in my urethra.
Right.
Right.
No pain in my abdomen because the release of the fluid was what was causing the pain.
Right.
Oh,
Anyway,
okay.
anyway, I had it in for 3 weeks. One night, I have to tell them this. One night, I'm going to be real quick here. One night, I went to bed. And you know, when you have this bag and you're accustomed to sleep on one side, you have to change position and fix yourself to sleep on another position. I accidentally rolled over and the bag filled with urine.
Oh,
And there's a release
Yeah.
at the end of it
no.
that
That's right.
causes the urine now to spread
No.
all over
All
the bed. So
Oh,
I had to
no.
sleep for the rest of the night in a urine wet bed.
Oh, no.
Anyway, it lasted for 3 weeks. I learned how to maneuver that, and they took the catheter out after 3 weeks. 2 days after they took the catheter out, I had an infection because of the force that the doctor gave me in
Right.
implementing this catheter.
Yes.
I had an infection, more pain. I'm
Yes.
urinating, but more pain, similar to the same pain I'm feeling. So I had to run back now to my primary care. Eru took me, and I immediately as I got into his office, he put an IV in my vein, and then I had to lie down in his office for 8 hours on my back on the disc. Very uncomfortable feeling.
Yeah.
Okay, fast forward now to the 27th of December. The biopsy report is in. It came in from the 21st, but I noticed the doctor didn't really call me right then and there. It came in on the 21st of December, and I'm using my intelligence now to say, well, hey, he didn't want to interrupt my Christmas. He wanted to have a beautiful Christmas without this luggage, without this bombshell that he's about to drop on me. So he waited until the 27th, and he called me up, and I went into his office. He sat me down, and he looked at me, and he said, Mr. Sinclair, very unfortunate, but you have prostate cancer.
Damn.
It felt like somebody took a 2x4 and hit me in the back of the head because nothing else makes sense after he told me that.
Of course.
He said, Mr. Sinclair, you have to go do a C scan. You have to scan your chest, your hip, and your pelvis, and your bone. We don't know where this prostate cancer is. If it's contained just in your prostate, then we can do a simple surgery and remove your prostate, and then you'll be cancer-free. But we want to know. So I went, reputable company. This cost me another $145,000. My family came quickly because they know I was in trouble. They came quickly to my assistance. And I went and I did the test on the 5th of January. On the 9th of January, it came back. My doctor, Dr. Garrett Reed, called me in his office and sat down. He said, I have a little bit more bad news for you. First news I told you had prostate cancer. No, the cancer is spread from the prostate into your left iliac wing. I said, what that mean, doctor? What do you mean by left iliac wing? He said, your left hip and your left pelvis is cancerous. Also, what he said, you are now at stage 4. Because it has spread from the original location, it has escalated based on the aggression of stage 9 on the Gleason report and aggressive cancer. It has moved quickly into a stage 4. Mr. Sinclair, we need to act now, because if we don't, you're going to go into stage 4A, which means you're going to go into your lymph node, into your arteries, then it's going to go in your lungs, your liver, your kidney, your heart, your brain, and then there's nothing else we can do for you. So immediately again, I had to rally up $198,000 to get the medication that I need, plus to pay for an injection. They call that injection, and I want you brothers to listen to me. That injection that they gave me is known as a medical castration. which simple mean back in the days in the 80s, they used to physically go into your scrotum and surgically remove your testicle. They
The
don't
testicle,
do that
yeah.
anymore in the 2020s. They give you a medical castration, which is an injection that does exactly the same thing. So they're medically castrating me. Every 3 months, I have to go and take this injection. Plus, I have about 5 different tablets that I'm taking. Plus, what the doctor told me, he said, Mr. Sinclair, there's no guarantee that 3 years from now during this treatment, you will not fall prey to
Yeah.
cancer, refusing the treatment, and then we have to give you another type of treatment. So here I am with
Yeah.
stage
So
4.
Big Stone, yeah, yeah. I hear you. Big Stone, you know this medical castration you talk about, what exactly is it supposed to do for the cancer? What
Okay.
exactly is yeah. How does it
Medical
work?
castration is your scrotum. Your scrotum is a reservoir of blood. Remember, it works hand in hand with your prostate. It
Sure.
supplies your prostate with blood. So if you can kill the source of that blood supply, you cannot stop the cancer because it's already there, right? They cannot do
Right.
surgery because if they remove my prostate, what they're going to do with my hip, what they're going to do with my pelvis. So they have to now
Yeah.
treat it. So because the scrotum is a reservoir that supply your prostate with blood, have to kill that support of reservoir. That we have to kill that reservoir, that support of blood. And in so
I
doing,
see.
we can slow down or
The
stop
process.
the spread of your
I
prostate.
understand. Okay. All right. That's fine.
Does that not affect your testosterone levels as well?
If what?
Does it affect your testosterone levels?
Most definitely.
I
And
guess it does. Yeah.
when I speak, I want everybody to know that I just don't speak from my mouth. This is a complete guide to prostate cancer. I know now that my life must be an advocate, a full testimony of what I've experienced so that I can tell it to my Jamaican man and my African brothers and brothers across the world who are even not of African descent, that I know what I'm talking
That's
about.
right. That's
I
right.
know what I am talking about. This is 354 page. I'm studying every aspect of my illness so that when you can ask a question like my brother Norman Gentles asked me about what is the comparison between your testicle and your prostate, I was able to tell him and tell him truthfully
Yeah.
what my experiences are.
Yeah. Because I mean, it needs to be said because as you alluded to, I mean, our black men, my brothers, you know, they have, of course, a stigma in Jamaica about, you know, having the test done. You know, that in itself
That's right.
is problematic, you know, because nobody wants to discuss that because they have other ideas in their head. And it's mainly, I think we just need to get these people to change their mindset. You know, once we can get them to rearrange their mindset, then they might be able to save their lives. Because at the end of the day, this is what it's about: saving your life
All
and
right,
your
Well,
family.
let me tell you real quickly where I think that mindset come from.
Yeah,
Not just in Jamaica, it's all around the world that we had slavery. Now, when
sure.
when the colonial master want to discipline a slave for anything that slave did, normally what he would do, take him into the middle of the courtyard, call out all the other slaves on the plantation, because we're going to use this slave as an example. They would
Yeah.
strip him naked, they would whip him to unconsciousness, then lean him over and have you know what with him. So what they did to his mentality was they emasculated the slave. They eliminated the slave. They take away the dignity, the manhood, the pride of being a man from the slave. So even if the slave run away from that plantation, he ends up most time hanging himself. What
Yeah.
they would normally do, they would form gangs. Like
Yeah.
just like they did lynching in the United States of America. It's a joke. What they would
Yeah.
do, tie you up to a vehicle, drag you until your parts dismembered and so on. Or they would
Mm.
touch you and laugh at you and take a photograph of little children there. You can see it. I didn't make this up. And they would laugh at the view burning in
Well,
the fire and so on. So what they would do is they would gang up, and a group of them, 6 or 10, would just go to different plantation. The slave don't have to do anything. They
Mm.
grabbed the most prominent of slaves and they made an example out of them.
Mm.
yeah.
So
So
that
that's
is
where
what
the
I
fear
Breaking,
factor
butt
comes in.
breaking, butt breaking as it was known, as it is
Butt
still known.
breaking, that's right.
Absolutely, that's our history, and that's where this
The fear
phobia.
factor.
Yeah,
That's right. Hmm.
yeah.
That's where it stemmed from. So how do we um, raise the awareness of that particular fact? Because maybe that's what people need to hear. That piece of history. And understand that phobia that you have. You know, is what's really killing a lot of us. I shared with Big Stone. I had a friend. His name was D Smith, and we used to go to the recording studios as a band. We used to play as the Foreigners Crew. That's the name of the band, right? And we were on our way to the studios, and he kept saying, "Miss Hunde." So we ignored him because sometimes he speaks in a certain kind of way. So he kept saying it, "Miss Hunde." So all of us stopped the car. We stopped the car, and when we pulled over the car, we all turned on him and said, "What the hell you keep talking about? You're soon dead for? We don't need them kind of negative vibes right now." And then he showed us, without saying a word, he showed us the doctor, uh, you know, uh, letter or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And it showed us that this guy had stage 4 cancer. As a matter of fact, they went further to give him 6 months.
Mm.
Wow.
He said, the last thing I remember him saying to us was, "Get your prostate checked. Don't die out of ignorance like I did." And that's what he
Mm-hmm.
told his kids, and he told all of us, begging for forgiveness. You know what I mean? It's like, wow. And literally, that's how many of us are dying because of that phobia,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
So we
yeah.
have
I
to
mean, yeah. So sorry, go on, General.
go ahead, Norman.
No, I was gonna say. I mean, just like yourself. I mean, over the last 10 years, I mean, I've lost countless friends. You
Isn't
know,
it amazing?
for the 10 years, last 10 years, at least 25 of my good friends.
Mm-hmm.
We've lost, and through sheer ignorance, as you say. So I mean, Big Stone, obviously, you're getting to know the knowledge regarding prostate. So are you saying that it mainly affects men over 50, and the risk increases as you get older, or what is
It
the
starts
take on
at
that?
about age 40, not over
Oh,
50,
40.
age 40.
Okay, right.
Now it's
Yeah.
important to know these statistics. Prostate cancer affect in my country, Jamaica, a little bit of Jamaica,
Mm.
Hmm.
a good uh, percentage of our men.
Mm.
We are responsible as the leading country in the world with the most prostate cancer incidents.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're also responsible as the leading country in the world with the highest mortality rate of cancer,
Mm. Mm.
prostate cancer. So that
Yeah.
is why a lot of people telling me, "Big son, boy, you have to slow down. You're sick now. You can't be." No, I can't slow down.
Mm.
I have to be the messenger to educate my brothers to say, "Get up
Mm.
off the corner. Don't rub
Mm.
out your hand, Michael. It's not just the gun that is killing you. It is
Mm.
Hmm.
also a disease that we don't even want to talk about based on the
Yeah,
stigma.
yeah, yeah.
Prostate cancer is killing more men, approximately about
Mm.
2,500 men per year in Jamaica. Last year's crime statistic was only 1,393. Look at
Mm.
that figure. to 2,500. Now, most of the men in Jamaica don't even know that they have it. I'll tell you why. At the Kingston Public Hospital,
Mm.
they see a total of 28,200 cases per year.
Wow. Wow.
The doctor says out of that 28,200,
Mm.
600 confirmed case of prostate cancer.
Mm.
But you know why there's not more confirmed case of prostate cancer? Some of the brothers who got tested never went back for the results.
That's
Mhm.
right.
They never went back for the results. They're scared. They don't want to know what the results are. They just don't go back. So that's why they don't even know they're walking around with it. Another impediment that I must bring to the fore,
Mhm.
when you're tested for prostate cancer,
Yeah.
and if it comes back that you're enlarged and need to do a biopsy to confirm if you have prostate cancer, if you cannot come up with $5,430, you can to buy the needles. You have to physically go get the needles, bring it to the hospital. Here are the needles. Perform the biopsy on me. You cannot know your status, and that's
So-
what
So
I'm
you
fighting against.
have to pay for that? You have to pay for the needles,
Yes,
really?
you don't have to pay for the test. The test is free, and we're big up
Or
on
you pay for the
applaud.
needle?
But you have to pay for the needle. But what I'm saying, what's the purpose of giving you the test? And then
Yeah.
you tell me I'm in large and I need further testing and I can't afford to buy the needles. What you're doing is you're psychologically killing me.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right? You're psychologically killing me because here I am now. Wow, I'm in large. But where am I going to get this money from? I can't even find breakfast. $5,430 is a lot of money for the average poor man
Yes, of
to
course.
find
This is what I
Jamaica.
wanted to say. Yeah.
Absolutely.
What chance does the average person in Jamaica stand? You know, if they don't have the money, how are they going to get tested? So you can see how some people may even just shun it
And guess
totally.
what?
Yeah.
And 10 star. For some of those who even find that 5,430, they don't show up for the results either.
Mm.
So there's
But
a
they don't
lot
want
of
to know the
things
results. It's
they
frightening.
don't
The
want to
results could
know.
be
I want to
frightening.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is
The
frightening.
results
I
could be
want to know.
dangerous.
I want to know what's going on
Of
with my
course.
body.
Of course.
And that is why, again, the complete guide to prostate cancer. I want to know because if I don't know, I don't want to inform my brothers and sisters who, as a YouTube influencer, a lot of people
Yeah.
listen to me. And I don't want to come out with rumors and lies and so on to get views. I'm never ever a blogger that deal with something to use to seek for clout. I'm a revolutionary blogger. So what I must do is to help and assist my brothers here in Jamaica and my brothers scattered across the African diaspora and the world.
Yeah.
Go get
Mm.
tested, do your due diligence, and make sure you come back.
Let me ask you this question. Now, my question to you is, do you have to make a snap decision when it comes to whether you want to take the medical test? When I say the medical test, you know, this, what's the word?
The digital rectal examination.
No, the radiation test.
Okay.
You know, does that lessen your chances of survival by taking a radiation test,
Chemotherapy and all. Well, my doc,
chemotherapy, and all that?
my doctor is a genius. Dr. Garrett Reed, I have to big him up again. He
Mm.
sat me down, but I sat him down as well. I said, Doc, and I looked straight in his face. I said, Doc, I want you to tell me the truth, what's going on with my body. I want to know
Mm-hmm.
what's best for my body.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that you say, I'm going to follow what you're telling me.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked at me and he said, well, listen, we're going to go this route for now. I don't think you need chemotherapy yet because chemotherapy is like a
Okay.
last resort. It kills
Good.
good cells and it kills
Right.
bad cells.
Right.
So what,
Mm.
so what we need to do is to see how much this medical castration works, right?
Right.
One an injection every 3 months,
Yeah.
that's 4 times a year, and this
Mhm.
medication. And then after 3 months, you go do a PSA, and
Right.
then when the PSA result come up, we see what's going on there. But
Mhm.
I must tell you this: the Almighty God, because He's a true and living God, has sent a Redeemer for Big
Mm.
Stone. holistically.
Yeah.
I cannot call his name. I cannot dwell into that information. But
Mm.
I can tell you this. I'm 4 days into my holistic treatment. And I can tell you this. What the doctor told me, he said, Mr. Sinclair, because I don't do nothing without scientific agreement, with
Mhm.
holistic agreement. But what I
Yeah.
did, I'm giving myself a fighting chance. I'm not
Mhm.
just depending on one side over here or depending on one side over here. I'm right in the middle. So if I'm
Yeah.
slipping here, this side can catch me. If I'm slipping over here, this side can catch me, and I can balance
Mm.
myself up.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
Yeah.
also, you don't want to contradict your medication. You don't
Mm.
want to contradict your scientific medication with some herb, and you don't want to
Sure.
contradict the herb with
Sure.
some scientific
Yeah.
medication.
True.
So
That's
Yeah.
true.
you have to play it safe and and, and,
Mm.
and, and transparent with both
Yeah.
Right.
of the people that you're dealing with. And
Right.
trust me,
So you're quite open to your doctors in regards to what they're.
yes,
You're okay.
yes. And I can tell you this,
Mm-hmm.
why I have so much trust in my holistic doctor, not that I don't have trust in my
Mm.
scientific doctor, but
Sure.
when I spoke with my holistic doctor,
Mhm.
the first thing that he said to me, I am not going to be the one that cure you. The Almighty is
Mm.
going to cure you based on your deeds. He
Yeah.
Sure.
also said to me that reassured me that this man has a sense of what he's talking about.
Mm.
Yeah.
He said, what is your PSA level? I said, my PSA level right now is 72.81. And he went like this. Big Stone, you don't have a problem. I
Mm.
jumped up.
Wow.
What do you mean I don't have a problem? He said, listen, the last person that I reversed his PSA level back to tolerable level, his
Mm.
PSA was 289,
Mm.
which is
Mm.
Wow.
4 times what I am
Wow.
working with.
Wow.
Okay.
Mhm. That's good.
And there's proof there. This is proof. Big Stone. You got proof,
Exactly.
evidence.
Of course. A matter of fact, I cannot
Okay.
call my holistic doctor's name.
I understand that.
Mhm.
Yeah, we
But,
Mhm.
understand that.
but his lineage is
Mm-hmm.
transparent,
Yeah.
right? His
Mm.
son was the one who contacted me. His son is
Right.
a public figure. That's all. That's as much as I can say. And
Mhm.
Okay.
also, when I went to do the transaction, minimum cost was no exorbitant fee, just enough to replenish the herbs that he
Mm.
used. Right?
We hear that.
When I
We
went
hear
to
that.
him, I didn't meet him on the street corner. I went to
Mm.
his
Yeah.
living room where he lives and resides with his family.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm.
he sat me down and explained to me what he's capable
Yeah.
of doing.
Mm.
So that
Okay.
boosts my
Yeah, man. That's encouraging. That's very encouraging. Absolutely.
transparency is a
Yeah.
key. And any man who's gonna
Yeah.
tell you that he can cure you
Mm.
and not involve the Almighty, then he
Mm.
doesn't know what he's talking about.
But also part of this, that I've learned as part of this journey, that especially, over the last year, I would say, is much of the food that we're eating is causing much of this cancer. Like, for instance, we should not be eating or using a flour of any kind. You know what I mean? And we eat the most dumplings. You know, sometimes if people run out of bread, they quickly run to the flour to do some a fried dumpling. And
And we're
again,
frying it as well. We're frying the dumplings
there
left,
you
right,
go,
and center.
there you
And
go.
that flour is being soaked in some serious oil.
Now, Big
Um,
Stone, tell us about the national dish, please.
I cannot go into that right now.
Oh, you
okay,
can't. Okay.
all right.
No,
I know why. That is fine. That is fine.
it's very
Yeah,
sensitive, and it's
sure.
very sensitive. And I want to heal. I want to heal myself so that
Okay.
when I
Yeah,
speak about that, then people
Mm.
will understand that there is a true and living God, and
Okay.
there's no reason for me to concoct a story.
Yeah.
sure.
There's no reason for me to be
Not at
looking
this
proud
moment.
by
Not
Yeah.
saying
at
that.
this moment.
Not
So
at this point.
I want to be a living testimony. I
Okay.
want to be a living
All right.
proof that, remember, we have all these entities. I didn't say that I have stage 4 prostate cancer.
Mm.
My prominent urologist who sent the results to a prominent histology, who sent the results to a prominent place, who did all the C scan and so on. They are the
Yeah.
one who came
Okay.
back. So that when I go back and I do my PSA test and I show the world that my PSA is now 0.2 or 0.3, they cannot say, "Oh, Big Stone, you're a liar. Oh, you concocted that prostate cancer." No, well, you'd have to talk to these people, these representative people. They are the one who concocted that story. So now I would be more believable because I've lived that experience, I've walked that experience, I've experienced the pain that goes with it, and I'm able to tell my brother about the food that you put in your mouth.
Yeah. And you're on a tight eating regime. I would
Most definitely.
put it that way. You've totally changed the way you eat. What's that? Is
Raw,
Cashew.
that
raw,
cashew?
raw cashew,
Okay.
Brazilian nuts, Brazilian nuts.
And all those are unsalted. So a lot of people
Yeah,
don't
man.
realize you check out
Pumpkin,
salt.
pumpkin seeds, pumpkin
Yeah.
seeds. They not done yet.
Mhm.
Well,
Raw sunflower seeds.
Mhm.
Yes.
there's half the neighborhood in there.
Yeah.
Spring water with
Good.
a pH of 7.9.
Right.
And this is the only water that I drink.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
So I am now working on bringing my body back to alkaline state.
Alkaline. Yeah.
Cancer cannot live in an alkaline body. So we are saying, get out. Where do you so? You know, belonging inside us, so you know, only temporary resident them take up, you know.
Leave out. Yes. Big Stone.
Move up.
I wanna let me ask you a question, Big Stone. You know, is prostate cancer hereditary? You feel? Is it family history, genetics? I don't know.
Right,
what are your thoughts on that?
Okay, what?
Because obviously, I know it's early stage. You're doing your research as you're living it.
No, I'm well equipped. I'm well equipped. I'm well advanced.
Okay. All right.
Prostate cancer, the scientists cannot say definitively what causes it, whether prostate cancer or any cancer for that matter.
Yeah.
They can't say. What they can say, they're looking at the type of food that you eat, your eating habits, if it's hereditary from one generation down to another. They're looking at all those stuff, but they cannot definitively say this is the cause. Because to definitively say this is the cause, then they'll know the cure. If you know the root, then you'll know how to deal with the branches and so on. And so
Right. Okay. No, it's just that because, you know, people feel that if my father had prostate cancer, a family member had breast cancer or even ovarian cancer, will it increase my risk of getting?
They're saying that. No, they're saying that. They're saying that if it runs in the family, most of the time, your family member had this kind of illnesses, so it carry forwards to you. But this is what
I'm also wondering whether words from our mouth is our own downfall as well, in terms of sometimes, and it's being said now that from a doctor that I know that has told me that there is no connection between your parents having something and you having that same disease if you haven't got it already, you know.
Okay.
However, I believe your mouth, words is powerful. You know, if you say my father once had it or my mother once had it, so there's every chance I'm going to get it, then I believe that's my thought thinking, you know.
Yeah. You can think into being. Is that what you're saying? You can think this thing.
Yeah, but I want to say this though.
Yeah.
I've been done the research. Your genes, your DNA have a lineage. So certain things happening within the lineage of your DNA. Scientists have proven that if your parents are Alzheimer's and so on and so forth, more than likely going to fall that trait. But I want to let everyone know that every human being on the planet Earth has cancer cells. It just lies dormant.
Dominant. Yeah.
In the type of food that you eat, then activate the cells. It becomes now alive and more aggressive and start
That's
to
true.
branch out like a mushroom.
Very true.
So that is how it
Okay.
is. But everybody has cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Let me say
And
this.
mm-hmm.
Let me say this that in regards to the hereditary aspect, prostate cancer, prostate issues has been around for so long.
True,
I don't know if anybody could really think back. But I know when my grandfather had it, they never said prostate, them said stoppage of water.
Yes,
Mm.
yes, absolutely. True.
Remember that? Stoppage
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
of
man.
him.
I was
What's
up
wrong
in
with
the
him?
water.
Him have stoppage of water. It's prostate.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
cannot definitively say if
yeah.
he had the cancer, but
Right.
I remember when we went back to Jamaica, and that was so many
Mhm.
years ago, to see him
Yeah.
just before he died,
Yeah.
he really shrunk. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
I
He
anticipated
had he had he had
cancer.
prostate cancer. He had
Yeah,
prostate
he
cancer.
had prostate
Mm.
cancer,
Yeah.
but they never said that. Then they said, "Remember,
No.
he's affected by stoppage of water."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and what you say, Sharon, regarding that and how we accepted it, it was just accepted
It
as
was
just
just
a thing,
accepted.
you've got it, and that's it,
That's it.
and there's no investigating into why or it shouldn't happen. We just say, yeah, man, he had it, and that's it. Oh, he passed away, he had a stoppage of water. It's
Yeah,
just
You
it's
know
some
what? You know
conversation,
what?
and
You know,
the conversation's done, and we move on, and that was then,
exactly.
Do
Yeah.
you know why they say you have stoppage of water? Remember, I'm 66 years old, so I can go back to yesteryear. They say you
Mhm.
have stoppage of water if you eat too much black pepper. And I was thinking that
Mm.
black pepper go into your urethra and clog it up and so on.
Right. Yeah.
Gallstone can cause stoppage of water to us.
Yeah,
Because if it
Mm.
goes in there and block up your
yeah,
urethra.
That's right.
yeah. But right.
Yeah.
So let me ask you another question, Big Stone. How long do you think you may have had stage 4 cancer without you realizing you had it? Now, when you think back, were you going over the years? Were you going through certain pains in the body somewhere, or what were you experienced that if you look back, maybe you should have paid it some attention?
Okay, remember I told you, right, that I'm so busy as a
Mm-hmm.
philanthropist, a
Yeah.
humanitarian, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
I put away my personal uh, care for the
Mm-hmm.
care of others. I live for the sake of others.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I was ill. Went to the doctor, did an executive. When the
Mm-hmm.
results came back 38.1, I didn't pay that no mind because I didn't even know how to read the chart, and the doctor didn't enforce it.
That's
So
right.
looking back now, I'm saying arthritis. I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying sitting in front of the computer for a long
Yeah.
time. So,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
but my doctor told me, Mr. Sinclair, it's impossible to go from stage 1 prostate cancer to stage 4 prostate cancer in 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
You must have been walking around with this disease at least for 2 to 3, 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's the
Wow.
thing, because there's no symptoms, as you say.
There's
But
no
Big Stone,
symptoms.
yeah, no
Mm-hmm.
symptoms. So I was kind of mulling over what you said regarding black men, because you're saying that black men are more likely to get prostate cancer than any other men on this planet. This is what you're saying. Yeah.
And that's got to be due
And
to
we
the
don't
food
we
that
don't know
we're
why.
eating.
We don't know why. We don't know why.
Listen, I
Well,
can.
Yeah.
I'm suspecting the food we're eating.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of it. I would definitely say a lot of it has to do with food that you're eating.
My
However, I
brother, my
no, I don't.
brother, my brother, my brother, my sister. My
Mm-hmm.
brother Norman Gentle says he doesn't know why.
Mm-hmm.
Our race of people, let's face the truth, are the greatest set of people on the planet Earth. I was the one who said so. We came from a lineage of kings and queens. We built the pyramids of Africa. In Jamaica, We have some of the greatest freedom fighters. We have started the most rebellion than any other country. Dutty Bookman left from Jamaica and went to Haiti to assist Toussaint to win the Haitian Revolution, where they fought the British, the French, and the English and whipped them. Nanny of the Maroons, right, come from Ghana. She come to Jamaica. She fought a war against the British and whipped them. Guess what? They had to come with a white flag and say, we need a treaty. One thing I don't understand is how can the loser determine the rules of the treaty? That's one thing. Another thing is, if you look at prostate cancer, it targets the reproduction organ. If you want to genocide a race of people, where do you think they would start? They're not going to go back in the days. No, they're not going to go back in the days and kill you like how they did in slavery. Yeah, the Atlantic slave trade, they throw you overboard and all that. It's too much. What they do is they go into your physical system, your reproductive organ, and slow that down. So and then with that fear of, you ever heard about the Willie Lynch syndrome?
Yeah, man, we know about that. Yeah.
Well, the Willie Lynch syndrome was meant to instill fear that will burn perpetually. Meaning, as long as you live, they don't have to come and start that fire. It's embedded in our mind. So what is happening? Genocide of a race of people. And that is why I have to come out and speak my truth, because I must save my brothers and sisters. Go get tested. Go get tested from last week. I'm so happy that George Pang, a very, very good friend of mine, said, Big Stone, because of you, I went and did my prostate examination. And my results are great. And he has called another 10 people. Look at the leader of the opposition. Did a video substantiating me and supporting me, right? And telling the world, look at the King of England. He has prostate problems. Look at
and that's the thing. And as you say that, it's no respecter of who you are, whether you're rich, you're poor. You know, it will come to you. It can happen to you.
Look at Martin Luther King's son.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Dexter Scott King died recently at age 62. Confirmed prostate cancer.
Right.
Big Stone, so, I gotta commend you, because what you've done in 4 weeks, you know, it's just more than what any government has done, especially not having a go at the Jamaican government, but when you think about the awareness that you have brought in that short space of time, you know, it's just amazing. You've got so much people on your platform. I mean, you just alluded to the leader of the opposition actually making a statement, and I mean, what more could you want? You know,
this is from the Jamaica Observer. This is from the Observer.
No, go ahead.
This is from the Observer newspaper, and if you read, it says, "Thanks, champ, for." It says, "Thanks, champ. Keep up the." It said, "Keep up the prostate cancer fight for Jamaican men." And if you look at my name, Big Stone is there. You see, in the belt, in the belt, in the belt.
Yeah,
brilliant.
You're a champion, without a doubt.
You see it?
Definitely.
Yeah, man. So I'm so happy, and also, what has happened since then? The Jamaica Cancer Society has reached out to me, right?
Yeah. Okay, good.
And I'm passing out pamphlets and passing out these. They did it to me because they're checking your prostate. So I'm so happy that I didn't hide my illness. I came public as soon as I felt like I need to be, and educate, especially when I found out the stigma that was going along with it, and the fact that so much of us have this problem down here. I had to speak out.
Yeah. What I'm actually trying to do right now, behind the scenes.
The sound is a bit distorted.
Is it? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
You're beautiful. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I think I had too many pages open. Maybe that's why. I wanted to see if I could play the message from the opposition leader, but it's a little bit difficult. So we're gonna leave
Yeah.
that out. So
I mean, I can
let
play it, but I don't know whether you can hear the sound as good as, you know.
yeah,
Can
let's see.
have a
You want me to go? You want me to go and get? You want me to go and get it for you, and see if I can
Yeah,
play
you
it?
might have a better. Your sound might be
All right,
better than mine.
all right, there it is. You can put it in. You can put it in now. You can
Okay.
add it. It's right there. You see it?
Go
Hold
ahead,
on.
10 star. You got it?
Oh yeah, let me see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In solidarity with my brethren Big Stone, who
Yeah, man.
recently was diagnosed with stage 4 prostate cancer. Big Stone, keep the faith. The battle will be won. People, did you know that prostate cancer is the most common form of cancer in men other than skin cancer? It is the second leading cause of cancer deaths after lung cancer. And it is especially prevalent in men who are 40 and upwards, and men of African descent. Early detection is crucial. This is not something to feel any way about, something to get embarrassed about. It can save your life, and the other people who are depending on you will expect you to do what you can to save your own life. Thanks to advancements in medicine, there are non-invasive tests like the PSA test. The prostate specific antigen test is a long word for that can identify high levels of PSA, which are indicative of a risk of prostate cancer, and help early detection so that the chances of full recovery are greater. So let's raise awareness and let's encourage our men to get tested. For the people of South St. Andrew, of which I have the honor of being a member of parliament, we will be having a health fair early in February, at which, among other things, PSA tests and the digital rectum test will be available. So I encourage each and every one to take advantage of that, and we'll be sending around the town crier in due course to give you more details as to when it will be and where and so on. But this is not something that we can lay about. It's a very critical thing in Jamaica. Too much people are dying of this thing, and too many people I know have been afflicted by it for me to do nothing. So hence, I'm putting out this video in support of Big Stone. Big Stone, one love.
Yeah, man. Well done, Stone. Well done.
That was a beautiful message. Beautiful message. So you received. How did that make you feel when you received that, Big Stone?
Elated to the fact that a prominent man as Donald Lamar Golin, the leader of the opposition party, who will be going for the next election coming soon, is so concerned about the plight of the people, and hearing the ordeal from someone who actually suffering from the disease and at stage 4, and to see the urgency, and to say that he's going to do a fair, a health fair, and specifically have PSA tests done, makes me know that my work is needed, and I need to work quickly in order to save some lives in Jamaica. So I feel good.
Yeah. So let's quickly come on to, because you told me about the rumors. I had no idea that was going on. Normally I can pick up things, but that one went over my nose, man. You know, in stealth mode. So tell me what went on there, Big Stone.
Well, I was home minding my own business, and I got a phone call from my friend Norman Gentles. And he says, "Wow, Big Stone, you're alive," because there's certain people on the airway right now, and I can call their name because they was all over the press. L.A. Lewis, Ragarugi, Errol Dunkley, and some others. Right, a whole line of them was saying that you're dead. And I have personal contact with you. We speak every day. I know you're alive and well. And I know that if you were dead, they know where they could have gone to certify that before coming out here. So I'll let Norman say more about that.
Yeah, well, just like yourself, I mean, I'm doing some work, and my phone is like bombarded. I've got about 90 people on my phone saying
Wow.
that, boy, Big Stone dead, not even questioning, not asking, there's a statement, making a statement.
Making a
I said,
statement, yeah.
yeah, making a statement. I'm saying, this is nonsense. I said, I just spoke to we had Big Stone on the station last Thursday, and we were on for nearly 2 hours chatting
Mm,
about his prognosis and talking about prevention and awareness. And these people say, yeah, no, but he's dead. He's
mm,
gone. I'm saying that
mm,
is not so. I did a live broadcast and
yeah.
put in Big Stone, and obviously, they realized
Mm,
that obviously he's still alive, you know.
mm,
But for some reason, I guess there are some people who are just sensationalists, They
mm,
like sensational news because they can, again, it can increase their clicks and their
yeah.
likes,
Yeah.
regardless of the hurt they might
Yeah.
cause to the individual. And it's not just
Mm-hmm.
the individual, it's the family members.
Mm-hmm.
Week before that, it was Cocoa Tea. People saying Cocoa Tea is
Yes.
dead,
Yeah.
and
True.
and they spread these rumors. And what it is, unfortunately, with some of our people on Facebook or wherever they are, they just like to press share.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we don't even
Checking.
understanding,
Yeah.
checking the information for
Mm,
whatever reason. They want to be in the know and being the person that passes on this message. So
yeah.
regardless of what that message is about, some people
Mm-hmm.
don't even read the message and they
That,
just send it on, and then it escalates and everybody wants a like and the famous word, subscribe and share.
Yeah. Subscribe. Right.
And here we are,
Yeah.
So but it was just a joy to actually just get rid of that rumors,
mm,
because
yeah.
you
Yeah.
know it was shocking and it was damaging, but at
Mm,
least we were able to clear it up with Stone, so
right.
people stop spreading rumors. That's all I
Yes.
can say.
Right.
Verify your
Don't
facts
follow
before.
rumors.
That's right.
Don't follow
Don't follow
rumors.
rumors. Yeah,
Yeah,
most definitely.
definitely. So let's
Mm.
round this conversation up, because I love this
Yeah,
conversation today, which is all about bringing about awareness and killing the phobia that is really killing us. Because many of us, those who have died before us, like I say, their words to me were, "Do not die out of ignorance,"
yeah,
and too
yeah,
many of us, too many of us have died out of ignorance. It's time to put that spell to an end, you know,
yeah, man.
and get
Absolutely.
yourself checked out.
Absolutely.
When I
Yeah,
got myself checked out, I'm thinking to myself, man, to hell with, this is a doctor who is very professional. He's going to do a
yeah.
good job. And that's pretty much how it was, you know.
And it's a release. It's such a relief and
Sorry.
a release, because I've also been tested, and
Hmm.
the results came back great. I'm fine. But
Good.
but what I want to ask Big Stone, what exactly is a PSA? We know what it stands for, but what is a procedure for carrying out a PSA test? Because it sounds like it's quite involved.
Okay. Your PSA, which is your
Stone?
prostate specific antigen. Now, in your prostate,
Yes. Yeah. Sorry,
uh,
Stone. I think I froze out for 1 second there. Just reiterate.
well, PSA means your prostate specific antigen. It's a test that it will tell you definitively if there are
Mm.
any cancer cells that has become active within
What
your
do they do?
prostate.
What does the doctor do to actually do this test?
I don't
What
know
is it?
what
What
the
does it involve?
I don't know what the chemical breakdown would be, but
Is it a blood
histology.
test? Is like a blood test of
It's,
sorts?
it's, it's
It
a
is a
blood
blood
test.
test. It
They
is a
just
blood
take
test.
your
Okay,
blood, but
It's a
specifically
blood.
for what
Yeah.
Big
that's what
Stone
I
just
want to make clear.
mentioned. Yeah,
No, no,
That's what it
because
does.
most people. Sorry, I didn't hear that. The internet
yeah,
chipped out a bit because there are
right.
people who would be listening, thinking, "What is a PSA?" We know what it stands for, but what
Yeah,
does it actually physically involve?
that's right.
Yeah. So we need to just
The-
so people won't be scared or frightened of these
Right.
things.
Well, you're right, and you're
Yeah.
right. Break it down for people who do not understand. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The, the only thing the big man will be afraid of is needle. You know, I know big stone fear the
Listen,
needle
don't talk
too.
about needles to me, man. Don't talk.
Me
Don't
too.
talk
We
about
don't like
needles to me.
needle, but I had it done. I had to.
Yeah.
The
No,
nurse
they
said,
can never
"Look
find
away
my
if you
veins.
don't
They
like
can never find
needles."
my
I'm
veins.
there looking at it.
Uh-oh.
Oh Jesus, Big Stone.
The middle veins.
Let's bring this show
Sorry.
to an end.
Yeah.
I don't know if Sharon wants anything to say, but let's bring the
Yeah,
show
I
to
want
an
to
end.
say real quick. I want this awareness that we're doing today. I think one of the messages I want to go out there as well is that this doesn't have to be a death sentence. Okay, I
Thank you.
think
Thank you.
a lot of people here, oh my God, I got stage 1, 2, 3, or 4. They automatically think of this as a death sentence, and it doesn't have to be. You just have to be
Yeah.
aware,
Yeah.
Yeah,
pitch yourself, and try to do things for yourself. That's right.
Yeah.
Early
yeah,
detection equals
yeah,
long life. Exactly. It does not. This does not
yeah,
have to be a death sentence,
yeah,
Not
and
at
it
all.
is,
Not at
and
all.
it is not. I can say definitively. I can say this. It is. The majority affected are our black people, are our
mm,
Yeah.
black men. But I'm
But
telling you now, based on
mm,
the
yeah.
conversation I had yesterday, people that I know
Yeah.
that lost their father, I did not know they
yeah,
died
Yeah.
of prostate.
yeah,
And
Yeah.
he's a Caucasian. It's affecting men, period. So early
Yeah.
detection,
Absolutely.
40,
Yeah.
get it done. One of the things my father said to his sons, to my brothers, don't be like me and wait
Yeah.
too late. Go get
mm,
your
Yeah.
check. Go get yourself checked out.
Yeah.
My father was one of those. He had homophobia. He knew
mm,
what the process entailed, and he's like,
Hmm.
"Mom, we don't want a man, but that's not right." And them
mm,
trying to rape me, and I mean that's the old mentality. You know what I
mm,
mean?
Of
But
course.
mm,
either
Yeah.
way, I just wanted that message to be out there.
mm,
It's necessary for Big
Yeah.
Stone. I had told Big Stone on the phone when I spoke to him, and I'll tell him again, like, as much as this has happened to him, he's going to be the catalyst, which has already begun, to
Yeah, man.
make people come out and
Yeah.
support the cause. Like, boy, let me go get myself checked.
Yeah.
Clearly, the man is still standing, so the rumors about him dead. Look
mm,
at him. So he's here
Yeah.
to tell everybody, open your eyes, open your ears, listen to the message, and go and get
mm,
yourself checked.
And it's a
No
yeah,
one.
5 seconds test. It's a 5 seconds. Five
yeah,
seconds it takes to make that have that
Exactly.
test. 5 seconds.
mhm,
So all black men,
Exactly.
you need to contact your GP. Speak to your GP.
yeah. Okay, is Norman? Can you hear me? Okay,
Well,
we've lost him a bit. We've lost
Internet's
him a bit.
frozen a bit.
Okay, can you hear me now?
We're good now.
Okay.
well,
In sorry, go on, Sharon.
no, I was going to say I was just made aware of, because Elliot is listening as well. He said, and there's another thing too. There are certain things that has to change in Jamaica. He said, well, difference it make if they cannot afford to do these tests. That is what is scaring a lot of people away as well.
That is it.
You know
The
what I mean?
money. Yeah,
It's the money.
absolutely.
They have to open doors
Mm,
to try to assist. That
yeah.
if they do find out that this is happening with them, give them
Mm,
options. It has to be options, but that is another thing that is
mm,
possibly scaring people to, well, we can't afford a test. We can't go doctor.
yeah,
We can't this, we
yeah,
can't that. It's a shame, but that is a deterrent. That is
yeah,
100% a deterrent as well for people to go and get tested.
Of course,
yeah.
but and it's nonsensical to have a test and you can't get the results. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't make
Exactly.
sense at all. Where
Yeah.
the
Right.
idea, it's just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make sense. if you're providing the test, you need to be able to give the results
Give the
without
Very
having to
result.
true.
pay for it. You
Yeah.
know?
Norman, in 2 minutes, give me
Yes,
your
sir.
rounding up words.
Well, first of all, I gotta say, more power to Big Stone. Thank you for your humanitarian work. You're an advocate. You're an ambassador. You are just a giant among men. And we thank you for all the good work that you've done and
Mm.
continue to do. You are indeed a success story. You're I've I've gotten
Mhm.
to know you over the years, and
I'm walking close the board. Yeah, I
you're
know.
just something else. So God bless you, and enough blessings to you.
Yeah.
Just joy, and give you love, man. You're
Right.
just full of life, and that's what we want you to continue being
That's
alive
right.
and
That's
and
right.
doing what you're doing best. All right. God bless you, man.
Norm, God bless you, Norman, for your
Bless
kind
you.
words to Big Stone. And I just want to end by saying, a very long time ago, I knew that you know a great man had been born, and doing some great mighty works in Jamaica, especially. And the way in which the world is going, you can see that people like Big Stone is highly needed. The amount of awesome things that Big Stone does for Jamaica is, it's highly admired, you know. So I do believe, I do know, I feel it in my bones, my spirit, that God is giving you a test, and this is going to be your testimony, you
Absolutely.
know. And when you speak your testimony, it's going to be large and vast. So, every morning, as people may know or may not know, I try my best to give him a kick up the backside, you know what I mean? Every morning. If he's slacking, I'm gonna know it, And I try to push him that way there every morning, every single morning. He goes, you know what time it is, 10 star? I go,
Can I
so
say something? Can I say something? I have
go
to, I
ahead.
have to say something. I'm just going to use two quotes from two great people.
Hmm.
In 1961, John F. Kennedy was sworn in as the youngest president of the United States of America. And he said in his inaugurational speech, he
Yeah,
said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for
can
your
do for your
country.
country. Yeah.
The Honorable Marcus Garvey, see him right here?
Hmm.
I wear him all the
Hmm.
time. See him right here?
Hmm.
He said, and this is very important, I want everybody to listen to the Honorable Marcus Garvey. He said, if the aim that you serve is selfish, it will get you no further than yourself.
Mm.
But if the aim that you serve is common to all, it will get you into eternity. And
Yeah.
that is
Mm.
where I want to be
Oh,
in eternity, living for the sake of others.
Hmm.
There
Yes, Tom.
you Big Stone, God bless you, brother. And as we all say, we will see you live and not die before your time. So we're
absolutely.
going to end this show today. I want to thank Norman for being part of this great conversation, and we're going to keep you around us a lot more as well
I'm
because you have a
afraid
lot
so. Yeah,
to
we're gonna have
offer.
to keep you. We're keeping
Yeah,
you.
Oh wow.
and
You know
Big
me, I'm a
Stone.
background person and I work in the background, but
And that's exactly right, friend. All right.
No,
uh,
you could be a background person, but those days are over around here, mate.
Yeah, praise
hey,
so.
hey,
Tell him. Talk up the things them and
you
tell
know,
him.
you know, you, hey, 10 star, we did TV for a long time, so sometimes we gotta take a break.
I would. Yeah, take your refresh because that day is coming to an end. All right, here we go. This is what I wanted to do. Bear with me a second. Yep, there we go. Brilliant song. It's called Your Mercy.
In the darkest night when I couldn't see,
This is Norman Gentles.
you rescued me. Your mercy, oh God, is like a flowing
Flowing
stream.
stream washing over me. Yes.
Big Stone.
In my
In your
failures,
feelings,
deep shame,
deep shame.
my
Stood in
place.
my place and you took the blame.
Your mercy, oh
Your
God,
mercy, oh God,
was
it
all
covers
giving and restoring.
giving and restoring, making new again. Your
Mercy, oh
mercy, oh
God,
God,
there's no
is what
way.
I need.
A love so deep,
So deep,
friend.
One more time.
you hold me close when I'm feeling weak. Your
Mercy,
mercy, oh God,
what I
is
need.
what I need.
That
Though
song
I
is Big
stumble,
Stone. Go ahead.
though
Sing
I
some more.
fall, your mercy's there to lift me when I fall. Your grace abounds, it's healing balm. Oh, Big Stone,
Thank
enough
you
love,
so much.
man. Enough love, man.
Thank you,
We're
guys.
gonna get out of here, people. We're gonna get out of here. Let me get some
Yeah.
Big Stone, some tissues.
Thank you.
Tissues. It's all
Thank you.
right. Cry it
Thank
Oh,
out.
you,
by the
guys.
way, can I just say that song? You know, I'm actually dedicating all the revenue from that song to Big Stone, the
What?
foundation.
Say, wait, hold on. Let me take
All
the
of the
stick out of my
sales,
ears.
all of
Say
the
it
sales of
again.
that record, all of that sales of that record is I'm dedicating it to Big Stone, right?
And
Say it one more time. One more time, brother.
Me say all of the money I go to him.
I war.
yeah, because and
The
read
man I get
quickly.
everything.
I read quickly.
Go ahead.
I started a crowdfunding platform on Real Helping Hands,
Hmm.
and I pledge that the monies that I raise from Real Helping Hands, I will assist people with prostate cancer and any other cancer. I want to start a foundation so that we can reach out to our brothers and help them. Because I
Amen.
don't want to live if my brothers can't live.
Hmm.
Doesn't make sense. It would hurt my heart.
Right.
So whatever we give, half of it or most of it will
Mm.
go into those who need it. Some people need it much more than I do.
Yeah,
How
man.
can I get that information?
Yeah.
Real Helping Hands crowdfunding platform. Big Stone as stage 4 prostate
I
cancer.
wonder if I can add that to the description of this show. Um,
You
we'll
should be
talk
able
about
to.
it after. We'll talk about
Yeah.
it after.
You
And
And
put
put
it in
the
the
link up to the
description.
song. Put
yeah,
the link up to the song as well, so they can get that at their own leisure. Right?
definitely, I'll do that. Definitely, definitely. So thank you, guys.
Bless you.
Stay where you are, but we're gonna get out of here, and we're gonna be back next week, Saturday, and our
And
guest is gonna be Black Slate, the legendary Black Slate. Okay, so we're
Oh.
gonna get out of here, and thank you all for your listening ears. God bless each and every one.